a favor, introduce yourself, name, if you have an organization, your title, and just kind of talk to me about the conference and what you got out of it.
Okay. Hey, my name is Delma Stubbs. I'm with the Mahoning County Veterans Service Commission. We do veterans assistance and help in the community. One of the things that I got out the conference was that what does right look like? If we can follow some of the principles that they are implementing over in Akron and the other areas, why can't we implement them here? Currently, those schools are not under academic distress, even though they may be on the border, but as a whole school district, they're doing something that's getting over to the students, a buy-in from the teachers, and obviously some community support and involvement. One of the speakers that I talked to talked about the engagement of mentors and people of the community, from the community, going back into the schools and telling their real life experience. That's what kids want to hear. Kids want to understand that there are rules, and a lot of times that there are consequences to the rules. And I think that with the implementation of the programs, the interaction with the students, and one of the greatest things that I heard was at the beginning of the presentation was that all the teachers are required to take the ACT test. So when they first brought this OST test to the table for standardized testing, they just introduced it. The structure of the test is not formulated for students in the urban area, but in proper sentence, you were really talking about suburban schools. To give the teachers a greater understanding of how to help the kids maneuver these issues that they haven't on the test, I think it's a best practice to see the teachers actively being involved with or taking the test to maybe have a better mapping strategy, teacher planning to help the kids to become successful. I missed some of the presentation because of prior commitment. However, I think it's important that we work together as a community. I think it's important that during a meeting like this, that school board members, not all of them have to come, but somebody from the school district should attend to understand what right looks like in other districts. They may not get that information through conferences, but when you're dealing with one-on-one and you can create a personal friendship or personal communication with another person, it helps you in the long run to make the right decisions and choices. So I challenge the school board to look the stats up for the Akron district and talk to some of the mentors, the teachers, the coordinators, the principals to see what their best practice of teaching are.
See you later. Awesome. You can look at me, ignore the camera.
Pardon?
Look at me, ignore the camera.
Okay.
As best you can. Start just by saying, tell me your name. So you're introducing yourself, your name, are you with a certain organization? Yes. And your title with the organization, and kind of just talk about the conference and what you kind of just witnessed.
Okay. Good afternoon. My name is WilliAnn Moore, and I'm from Toledo, Ohio. I am a retired teacher of 36 years for the Toledo Public School System. I am also a 10-year past president of the Toledo NAACP, and I am now third vice president for the local in an advisory capacity, but I'm the assistant treasurer for the state NAACP for all the branches that are in our state conference. I am also the co-chair of the Education Task Force, which was assigned by President Roberts, who is the state president as of today. I have worked with education because I was the past education chair for the past 18 years, and we still have not succeeded in helping our children bridge the education gap. I worked with Senator C.J. Prentice on closing the education gap. I've worked with our former president, who is now deceased, Sybil Edwards McNabb, and Mrs. Ophelia Averett, who also worked on closing the education gap. We have just not gotten it done. It's going to have to be done because our children are dependent on it. We know that our children, from the lowering of their expectations, that's how they get money. That's how the state gets money. Our children are cash cows. And if we don't do something about it, no one will do anything about it. And I'm just thankful that Mr. McWilson is focused and dedicated and want to see something being done. I pray, because I'm on a mission, I pray that this is done. The template is done for state takeovers, how to prevent them, and what to do to get out of them. I pray that this is done by March 1st, because we're going to the national with it, and it is going national. And then after that, the work then begins, because then we're going to have to start implementation. We've worked extremely hard, I've worked extremely hard, and this has been my labor of love, my lifelong work, because we don't get paid. We don't get paid for this. We're doing this because we love our children and we want to see the education gap closed. And we know that it can be done because it can't be about poverty. Because we saw today, Steubenville is just a regular high school, and their students are achieving. But like the principal said, they love the children. He has a relationship with the teachers and the unions, and he's a product of Steubenville, and 98% of their teachers graduated from Steubenville High School. And they're homegrown, so you can't beat that. And if we can't grow our own, at least we can have a culture where teachers can come into and know the expectation levels and either buy into it or buy out. Our children deserve it.
All right. I don't have anything else to ask because you said it all.
Okay.
Good? Okay. Start by saying your name, the organization you're with, your title, and then talk a little bit about the conference, kind of what you got out of it.
Okay.
Whenever you're ready.
Okay. My name is Wally Saladin. I'm a comedic minister.
You can look at me and ignore the camera.
And I am also the treasurer for the NAACP. What I got out of the meeting that we had today, that every child can learn regardless of whether they come from a poverty home or a wealthy home. It's just a matter of the teacher understanding the community that they work in and help the students that come to them with whatever disabilities they might have, and that way they can better benefit the child as he goes through his learning system.
So we've been talking, I think there's been a lot of excuses in Youngstown, a lot of, well, your parents aren't educated, there's no help at home, it's a cyclical argument, a cyclical thing. We don't have the money, but we're seeing that Youngstown spends more money than Steubenville, and Steubenville's getting results. So what do you hope is like going to come out of these things?
Well, the thing that I like for it to come out of this is that the people on the school board need to communicate with those who know how to do best practices, and to communicate with the outer community to give them a hand and give them a way to go in order to help better our students as they go through our learning system of the school system here.
Is it frustrating to you, or does it make you angry to have had all these years of excuses, and Youngstown's always been a difficult school district, and then to hear that these other districts are doing well with some of the same problems?
Well, what frustrates me is that when they did have good principals or superintendents, they bullied those superintendents off of what their course of their action was and didn't follow their plan. And so I don't want to mention any names, but one of them is a doctor, and she was very good at raising the level of academics for our children at that time.
Anything you want to add, anything we didn't touch on that you think is important that you...
At this particular time, there's nothing that I can think of so far, because the seminar today explained everything that needs to be done as far as the action and a plan to move forward to get the Youngstown City Schools out of academic distress.
Awesome. I'm going to step over here. You could look at me here on the camera.
Okay.
So just start by introducing yourself, the organization you're with, your title, and kind of what you got out of the conference, why it's important, anything like that.
Okay, all right. And you're ready?
Ready.
Hey, my name is James Brown. I'm the first vice president of the Youngstown branch of the NAACP, also the co-chair of the Mahoning Valley Reentry Coalition. This conference was excellent today because it shed light on how it is very important for us to think differently, that poverty is not at the core of this, that is basically an opportunity for Youngstown City Schools to do what's right and follow Steubenville schools and Akron schools in making sure that their kids achieve by making sure everything's available to everyone at the same time.
I think for a long time, maybe there's been the excuse of, oh, it's 100% free and reduced lunch, they don't have the support at home,
right.
Their parents aren't educated. So do you think this kind of dispels a lot of that?
This totally dispels those myths, those rumors, because of the fact that now people have to understand why they're there. If you're not in this school district to basically help the kids, you can't be there for yourself, because it's proven in districts like Steubenville and Akron that 100% poverty, success can come out of it. And it's coming out in Steubenville, coming out at half the cost. In Youngstown City Schools, it costs $12,000 per child. In Steubenville, it's about $7,000. Okay, so there's a money issue. Always follow the money, but there's a money issue regarding this, and it's not fair to the kids, because now they have been abused by people that they have trusted and elected in office, and now we have to kind of, as a community, hold them accountable for what they've done, and to change a paradigm shift into making sure that we mirror Steubenville, because there's no sincere form of flattery than to copy what they're doing.
And finally, what are you hoping will come out of this? What do you hope will be the... A lot of times, you know, you hold these kinds of things, and then it's like, well, great, we have all this information, and nothing happens. So.
Well, the thing is, the number one thing I hope for is something happens. That means that people are going to go out, they're going to tell everyone else. They understand now that what they've been hearing from their elected officials here is not true, it's just an excuse. Now it's time for results. So we have an opportunity to show results, we have an opportunity to get the community on one accord, but you can't start, everyone's not going to get on board. So we have to start with the few, the coalition of the willing, as I call it. Just get those few people who understand the truth and are willing to continue in it.
Awesome. Anything you want to add that we didn't touch on?
No, I really appreciate the opportunity today, and this was an excellent conference, and I think we should do more just to enlighten the rest of the public.